Going to start our preparation math class with some questions. So the first one is, how was your experience with the ICFES exam when you were at school?
Well, I think that it was difficult because my college, my school, didn't have the preparation for the ICFES exam, so we did some how do you say that, some pruebas,
Test?
some tests before the exam, but at the end it was so hard because we didn't have like the experience in those exams. So I remember that, for example, when I was like at 11th grade, I was doing some tests before the exam, but at the end it wasn't enough because the exam was totally different and the structure we didn't interact with the structure of the exam, and we didn't have like that contact with the exam, so it was really hard for me and also for my classmates.
Okay, pretty good. And you know that for the finish your career, you need to do the Saber Pro exam. What do you know about it?
Well, it's kind of the same thing because, well, I do know that we have to present the Saber Pro exam, but it was difficult. Well, it is still difficult for me because I don't know neither the structure and nor what it's going to be in the exam. Because, for example, if we talk about the ICFES, well, I already know what the ICFES is going to talk about. But for example, the Saber Pro exam, the only things I know, a few things. For example, that it has like a general part, that it has like a part that is specifically for us as teachers, and I don't know anything else. So, for example, I think that I have heard that it has also a part that is dedicated just for maths. So I don't know the structure of that part, and I think it would be difficult for me.
I'm going to show you some phrases like you can see in here for you to tell me if you agree with me or if you disagree. For example, I'm not sure about that, I think so too. Or on the other hand, I'm sorry but I disagree, I beg to differ, that's true but. And I wanted to ask you, I've heard that the state exam of France, which name is Baccalauréat, it's so difficult and is very similar to the Colombian Saber Pro exam. What do you think about it?
Well, the first thing is that, well, firstly, I have heard about the baccalaureate in some courses, sorry, but I think they're different. Well, I have heard that the baccalaureate exam is very difficult. I think so too, and I agree with you. But I think it must be different because, well, in that part, I'm sorry, but I disagree because I have heard that, for example, that exam, it has like some specific parts for students. So, for example, if you wanna be a teacher, if you wanna be a doctor, if you wanna be a lawyer, you have to take the exam, but a specific part of that exam. For example, if you wanna be a lawyer, you have to take the part that of the exam that says, for example, I think that is specifically for lawyers. So it's very different because here we don't have that, or at least that's what I know. We don't have like that division of the exam. And also, for example, here in Colombia, we have like the general knowledge. I think it is also in the French exam, I suppose. But as I said, there are some specific parts that we don't have like in our exam.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to give you four exercises taken from the math model preparation for the ECAES or the Saber Pro exam, and they have different types of questions, so I'm going to give you 15 minutes for you to prepare them, try to look for the correct answer, okay, and try to give me the answer and why. Why do you think that that is the right answer? So let's go ahead and take a look at the four exercises, and then we get back and we check together. Guys, we have two types of buses, and we need to check what is the total of people that are able to take or to use this transportation. How did you do it?
Well, firstly, I took into account that, for example, we have bus type A and type B, and for example, what I did was like to know first, I wanted to know what was the number of people that can be in a bus type A, and also I repeat the same procedure with the type B bus. And then what I did was like to multiply, for example, the number of people that can be in one bus. I multiply it with the number of buses of type A. For example, in type A, I add, for example, the number of seats and then the passengers that can be, and then I add that number and then I multiply it with the number of buses that type A has, and then I repeat the same procedure with type B, and for me the answer is D.
Okay, very good. That is the correct answer, and that's the correct procedure. The second exercise, if we have a study and we need to see if the most part of the country is young, and according to the instruction, a young people is considered under the 30th. So let's say, Nico, what is your answer and why?
Well, I think it's A, because taking into account the statement that says that, for example, if a person is 30 years old or less than that, is considered young, then, well, the question is if it is correct to affirm that the majority of the people of that country is young, and I think that it's yes, because if we see the pie chart, it shows us that the 45% of the population of that country is between 21 years and 35 years old. So I think for that reason that the correct answer is A.
Okay, Nico, actually I'm sorry, but no, the correct answer is B. We cannot affirm that most of the population in this country are young due to the chart, because that part, the 45%, are only people between the 21 and the 35 years. So I guess that 2% of that 45% can have, for example, 26, they can be younger, but the other 43% can be older, over the 30s. So that is not correct to affirm that all of them are like young. For exercise, we have a statement that talks about some fish species, and it says that the female choose the male because of some important characteristics that they can easily see, like when they are colorful and when they are big. But the bad thing is that they are more vulnerable to some other species that want to eat them due to the same fact. So which of these the following statements support this hypothesis?
The answer is B, because I totally agree with the statement, because when fish, for example, are colorful, or for example they have colors that are easily to note, for a female they can attract them. But however, it has like a bad situation, a bad part, because for example, for predators also it's easier for them to see and to identify those colors, and also to hunt them and to kill them. So it is like, it is an advantage, but at the same time it is a disadvantage for them.
Okay, pretty good. The answer is B. We have a message using the binary code. This code is only uses zeros and ones, and each zero of the message has to be paired. If you count all the numbers, it has to be paired, otherwise the message is incorrect. So there is an engineer who studied the message, and he said that there is exactly one number incorrect in that part of the message. With that information, is that correct to say that he is in the right thing? He can say that there is exactly one incorrect number in the message?
The answer is C, because, well, I agree with you in terms of that. For example, if we are talking about the binary code, if we take a group of numbers and the group of numbers is odd, then the message, we can say that the message is wrong. But however, on the other part, we cannot identify the specific number that is wrong. So for example, we have, and we take a group that, for example, is the last group, and then we count the numbers, and if it is odd, I know that it is wrong, but I cannot identify the specific number that is wrong.
Okay, and it's also not only the specific number, but also the specific numbers, because they can be more than one, the ones that are wrong in the same part of the message. Okay? Good. To account all the things that we have learned today, the practice that we have done, I just want to give you some tips for you to take into account at the moment of developing the exam. The first one is, be careful at reading, okay? Read the statements several times to make sure that you don't lose any information. In this math model, it's super important to take into account every single detail. Also make sure that you sketch or you draw, for example, some images or some things that can help you to summarize the problem, or to see it on your head. Also, write down the database that you already know. So the same, you don't lose the information. Once you have it, if you read it 3 times, well, then write it down so you don't lose anything. And try to summarize everything. Don't take like the whole thing, because take into account all the information, but also you need to be able to like remove or notice what is the information that you don't know to solve the problem. Okay?
Well, I think, thank you so much. I agree with you 100%, and I think that, well, what you have said can help me when I present the math module, specifically in the Sauerbrei exam. And also I want to add to that information that maybe when we are summarizing, it is good to do it, but with my own words. So as you said, I can have in my head what is really important for the exercise.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Bye.